Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 406. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
How you doing?
And Brian Manjoma.
Just over 1 year, and that's all it took.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. You know what? Let's just get right into it. There's a lot of drama happened in one weekend in the gaming industry.
Yo, man.
What is going
what's
on?
with all this?
Wouldn't it be nice to get good news in the gaming industry? It's just been fucking terrible news.
I thought that the Sunday was the day of rest. That's when Jesus was like, I'm taking ill on this planet.
Yeah, well, all this drama actually started on Friday, Yes. And then there's even another gaming adjacent thing that happened. We're not going to talk about it. We didn't get a question about it. It involves a streamer, very famous streaming girl. Yo, it's like these allegations are true. Man, I don't know what's happening with gaming right now, but let's get into it, man. Just jumping right into it. Mob hits. In light of the Gotham Knights situation, is 30 frames per second acceptable in modern gaming? All right, for those who may not know, we found out that on consoles, Gotham Knights is capped at 30 frames per second. We found this out through the Discord. We just found the game's coming out on Tuesday or something, or next week. I know that, right? They didn't say anything about frame rate until now. And apparently the reason is because of the untethered co-op. I've been playing video games since 1987. I've never heard this term until this weekend, right? But turns out I do know what it is. I've just never heard it called that. Basically, it's like, when you play Souls games, you could have both of you guys go wherever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be in close proximity. Gotham Knights has that. So open world, untethered co-op, and they say that's the reason why on consoles, it's 30 frames a second, throw in 4K, ray tracing, all that stuff, right? And my thing is, I believe on Throwdown we discussed this before, that the reason we're getting a lot of 60 FPS games is because they're all last-gen games. This is a current-gen game. Remember, they canceled the last-gen version of this shit, possibly because of this. Who knows? So it makes me wonder, is this going to be the new normal for consoles? 30 frames 4K? Then again, you have Insomniac kind of showing, hey, you can have best of both the worlds here. You can drop the resolution a little bit and have some other stuff. But, we're just using this question as a springboard for this specific thing. This is the first piece of drama that happened this weekend. Started on Friday, So, Brian, I want you to start off, man. What do you think of this whole situation?
I'm learning about it just now, so I'm interested to actually find out more about it, because I'm like, okay, so how was the Xbox Series S holding back? I want to know the reasons why.
Yeah, that's another. So, Brian, did you see that the developer? Oh, hold on. Brett's here, people.
No. Hey, what, people?
Brett, how you holding up, man?
How you doing, Brett?
I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you want me to say your business, but Brett has something very, very nasty that I've already experienced twice. Brett, I feel your pain, man.
I don't give a shit. I got diverticulitis, apparently.
Yeah, it's a really nasty stomach infection. It's fucking brutal, So, Brett, shout out to you for being here, man, because that shit'll lay you out,
Yeah, I haven't been able to get shit done, and I've just been laying around playing fucking Xbox. Nothing else to do.
Antibiotics up the ass, That's all you can do, really.
Dude, I am so doped up on antibiotics right now. I can taste it in my fucking saliva.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. That's
I know
right.
that.
That's right. You smell it in your piss too. Yeah. Brutal, man. But I'm glad you're here. But Brett, I don't know if you're aware, but a lot of drama happened this weekend in gaming. The first thing we're talking about is the whole Gotham Knights capped at 30 FPS on consoles because of the co-op. I don't know if you heard that.
What? I mean, is that just a parody thing?
No, apparently, exactly it seems like it. But basically, the developer, it's funny because this was discovered on Discord. Someone took a screenshot. So it came from a developer, so real. They didn't make it into a press event yet, but this was disclosed on Discord that people, because no one knew what the frame rate for this game was. So a developer said, "Oh, it's 30 frames locked on current gen consoles because of the untethered co-op." Basically, Brett, you know how like in Soulsborne's games you could just go anywhere you want, both you and the other person, and you don't have to be near each other. It's that type of deal. So apparently, because of that, they can't make the game run at 60 frames a second on consoles.
Can't or won't?
They say can't. They say can't. We could speculate about that if you want, but that's what they're saying.
I'm not really sure off the top of my head what kind of technical limitation is going to... Why would you need to... Is somebody hosting a game? Like, are they saying, like, if the person...
Oh, the game's always online, by the way.
Okay, I don't know. Then it's definitely a parody thing, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, by the way, more to your point, on PC, that doesn't exist. People are out playing this shit at 120 frames a second on PC,
And this was something that I was trying to find. So why is the PS5 version running at 30 frames?
Yeah, so it's the Xbox Series X version. And Brian, like you said, apparently one of the developers said the reason for this is because of the Xbox Series S.
Then what does that have to do with the PS5 version?
That's what I want to know. So, like Brett said, it has to be a parity thing. It's like, oh, this shit can only run at 30 frames. It has to be like that across the board.
Yeah, the thing that confuses me about that, man, like, do we slip into like fucking Bizarro world where now that they like we don't want competition so much that we won't let a game shine on one system or another? Like we're it just feels like ass backwards to me if that's the case, because like wouldn't you want to showcase the difference? Be like, oh, it runs the best here. Like, wouldn't that be incentive to buy a newer gen console?
Yeah, well, the game isn't it isn't last gen. It's only current gen, right? But yeah, I don't know if again now we're just speculating.
Oh, wait! It's only current gen.
Yes.
Remember,
they canceled it was going to be originally last gen. Then they canceled it. Like, no, we need the power of the new consoles for this game.
Yeah, well, okay, so that actually makes some sense then. So, like, I mean, maybe. So, if I'm understanding correctly, then since the game is always online, are there dedicated servers to this?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I'm very curious to find that out.
Yeah, but but obviously this caused a whole ruckus on Twitter, because people are like, hey, this is a next gen console. Why the fuck is my new game playing at 30 frames a second?
Because our processors still suck. Like if it's a keeping track of multiple players on an open world map, like, okay, this thing has gone back to problems since DayZ, right? Like the problem is that you're basically trying to keep track of everybody. So if one person's console is trying to keep track of everybody co-oping with them, then you're going to run into processing limitations.
Yeah, and Brett, this is something I was talking about before. Because remember, my theory is the reason we got so many games that are 60 frames a second now on consoles is because they're last gen games. So I was always wondering, like, what's going to happen when we have just regular, next gen games or whatever? They're going to have to probably be 30 frames a second. It looks like that's the case, But Brian, as you always say, consoles are not that powerful, on purpose, But
then, okay, here's the thing that's still just that I don't fully understand, and I don't know why, because again, no one seems to have explained it in anything that I've read so far. So the whole thing has been confirmed to be running at 4K 30. So where's the 1080 60?
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's the thing that I don't understand. Because, it's fine. Again, how many games have we read that, it has a 4K 30 frames per second mode and then a 1080 60 frames per second mode? So my question is, where's that option?
That's why people are pissed off. They're like, why isn't there an option? It is only 4K 30 as far as we know. And I'm with you 100%. Why doesn't the option exist?
Well, let's say someone starts up their PS5, hooks it up to a 1080p TV. Does that is a game still rendering in 4K? That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make it, but it seems like that's what's happening here.
And if you're running a PS5 playing a game on 1080p, it doesn't make sense why it has to be 30 frames per second.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense. Yeah. By the way, I suspect they're gonna be like, "Oh, we figured it out." You know what this reeks of. You know what this reeks of to me. You need the Kinect for this console. It doesn't work without the Kinect. That it reeks of that. Remember how that ended? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I call BS on this. I call BS on this thing, man.
And do we know? And this is my ignorance. Do we know if this game is crossplay across multiple platforms?
No, not that I know. You mean like can PS players play with Xbox guys, right?
Yes.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because if it's not, then that point is useless. Because why doesn't the PS5 have the option? If we're talking about parity's sake,
we don't know if that's the case either. By the way, we don't know if that's the case. They never said that. I'll look it up, but that's a good question. Is it cross play? I'm not sure.
Because I mean, if the Series S is limiting it, then it doesn't matter because the PS5 is independent of that.
Yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I agree with what's been said. It's a bit ridiculous that you have to have parity with the low-end Xbox in order to have everything level. At this point, and honestly, the way Jim Ryan's been acting, running around complaining about Microsoft, he should be like, look, however it can run as fast as possible on PS5, make that happen. Like there should be no agreed upon parity. Or it should be in the user's control. Like at the very least, it should be like, hey, what happened? And other games have this. What happened to have a performance mode or a quality mode or whatever, right? It looks better at 30 frames a second, or make it run as fast as possible. What? They just took that choice away. That doesn't make any sense. So either it's parity or this game is not optimized very well.
Yeah,
they just kind of locked it.
Yeah. Shout out to Richard Bailey Jr., who's in the chat right now. He thinks this game was just rushed. And that's why you're getting this. I could believe. I
was feeling that too. Like, to me, at this point, sharing parity, especially right now with the kind of the politics going on between Sony and Microsoft with the Activision acquisition, I wouldn't care anymore about parity. If I was Sony, I'd be fuck that. If we can handle it, then just please clock the game higher for us, and then that's our selling point, right? Yeah. I would every advantage I could take, I would get. So that tells me it's not. It might not be a parity thing. It's more of a performance issue with the game, and Rich is probably right. It's very rushed, and they just locked it at 30 frames a second. And then I don't know what other problems they have to fix down the road if there's major issues or frame issues or texture issues. Who knows what might be wrong? And if down the road, then they go, oh, we've added a performance mode and a quality mode now.
I guarantee you they're going to do that shit. By the way, Carlos, real quick, the official Gotham Knights fact says crossplay support is not planned at this time. So there you go.
Okay. So, I mean, to be honest, I never have faith that the that any generation can actually perform in the way they expected. You will not see a 60 frames per second 4K game in this generation.
We have gotten 4K 60 frames.
We've got Ratchet and Clank, right?
Well, no, that wasn't actually a full 4K. It was actually slightly under, and then they were upscaling it.
Which ones came out, Carlos, that are full 4K?
Wasn't the latest Dirt 4K 60 frames on the Series X? I know.
So yeah, I believe so. But Manny, your point is it's gonna be few and far between.
It's going to be few and far.
It's a fucking racing game. Of course, you're going to get 4K 60.
Yeah, it's a racing game, and there's a couple of games that on Xbox are actually running in 4K. But to be honest, why don't they just throw it down to 1080, and see if they can get it to work that way?
Yeah.
But
Or-
again,
or
and then
2K.
use some sort of upscaling tech to bump it up to 4K, right?
Mhm.
A lot of the companies are doing that already.
Yeah, well, like we always talk here, not all developers are created equal. I've seen some of that. Oh, Insomniac's able to do this. How come these guys aren't? Because they're probably not as talented. Let's just be honest here.
Well, I mean, also, developing things on multiple consoles actually does take time.
Yeah,
Despite them being
that
fairly
is true.
close
That's
to
a good
each other,
point.
it's
Now, Insomniac's only focusing on one system.
that's
Yeah.
specific. That's also specifically why they probably canceled the old PlayStation 4 and Xbox not 360, Xbox One, versions of those games, is because they literally would have been launching on, let's see, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, and PlayStation 5. 5. And then a number 6 for the PC version.
Yeah, a lot of games have been doing that this gen, though. The third party
And then,
games.
and then going to Manny's point, they were probably working on all those, and then they had to cancel the last
They
gen
did,
because they were like they just thought it was too much overhead.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
probably because the thing is that they're probably not finished with the meat and potatoes part of the game. But then they also have to start thinking about the previous generation as well. Like, I mean, the ideal situation would be to release the main meat and potatoes versions of the game, and then release a dumbed down version of it later, if they want to simplify things. Because at least you're not developing multiple games at the same time.
Kishek said that this is running on Unreal Engine too.
Yeah. Oh wow. Couple of things here. Shout out to Alex one-on-one. He goes, "I'm glad I got to see this show live again. Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I want to give you a shout out.
Thanks a lot.
I wanted to give you a shout out last week, but we were like busy yelling at each other. Jay Shep.
Shout out to Fergus Mills.
Shout out to Fergus Mills. You already know, man. Mighty Nerd, obviously. Everybody in the chat right now. Shout out to Jay Shep. Jay Shep, speaking about Jay Shep, he goes, stupid question. Are the games running 4K on Xbox really running at 30 but are being optimized to 60?
I think that's if it's variable frame rate, maybe, but other than that,
Digital Foundry would have caught that shit.
Yeah, because if they were using sort of like a motion flow system, to essentially smooth out their frames, you would have seen all of that in the distortion when they're essentially when the thing is sort of filling in those additional frames. And Digital Foundry has never mentioned, or any other company has never mentioned any of that sort of stuff happening.
Yeah. So if they're running at 4K 60, they're running at 4K 60. But yeah, this whole guy here. By the way, man, I should say this. I'm just speaking personally right now. I'm glad I'm not invested in this fucking game. I don't. I'm like, listen. I've been saying this since the jump. As soon as they announced this, I was like, no Batman, no deal. So I'm all right.
To be honest, it's like
No Rocksteady, no deal.
I mean, it is. What is it? WB Montreal or something that's doing this. The ones that did that kind of weak Batman Arkham Origins.
Oh, Origins?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Origins.
those guys? Oh.
Yeah, it's the Arkham Origins guys.
No.
Yeah. It's, it's one of those.
Shit. Well, there it is.
Again, I want to give those guys a benefit of the doubt, but I feel like you look at this game, it just doesn't. There's nothing that seems that interesting. I mean, granted, I'm sure there's people interested in playing a Robin game, but to be honest, I would much rather play Nightwing. If we're going to be going down the road,
he's there.
Yeah, no, just Nightwing on his own.
Okay,
You don't need all those other
right.
people.
Right. You don't need them, but even Jason Todd, get out of here.
You don't need no Jason Todd.
Yeah. Fergus Mills, my brother. He goes, I'm sure the developers will add performance mode when the sales are shit in 6 months or less. Listen, man, I don't want to say it, but yes.
This game, I'm going to say this, maybe. I don't know. It was one of those games that as soon as I heard about it, I just sort of, I got that feeling like, I don't know about this one. I don't think so.
I know this is wrong universe, wrong comic universe, but my Spidey sense went off. You know.
Yeah, my spidey sense went off on this one. I feel like if they just chose to do, like, you're telling me, like, what is it? How many characters? Or 4 characters equal
like
up to
that.
1 Batman? I don't know.
Kishak, my man. He goes, how low of a resolution can you guys stomach for 60 FPS? 1080p, I guess, you know?
Yeah,
you don't want to go lower than that, you know, unless you're a Nintendo fan, you know?
I mean, 1080.
Those
seems fine. I
motherfuckers,
mean, then again,
you know Nintendo fans are looking at this, so what are they, what's the big deal? 30 frames a second. That's fine.
It's beautiful.
to be honest, I don't have an issue with 30 frames per second because we're so many games that are at 30 frames per second. It's like I feel like 60. I feel like 60 frames per second is like a mythic story. It's like it when it does hit, it's like, oh hey, but for the most part, we never hit it.
Yeah, no.
This is the constant battle that we've been had. 60 FPS has been the constant battle that we've had since PlayStation 3.
Yeah, no, you're right
Xbox
about that.
360
But the thing
era.
is, in this generation, I guess because they're all last gen games, 60 frames has actually been the standard, you know. But generally, I'm with you on that one. My thing is like give people the option, you know, give them the option.
Yeah.
That's been a standard too. 30 frames 4K or 4K-ish or 60 and variable. That's been a constant this generation. But now it's just no, you get this and that's it.
Can they bump it to 40?
Yeah.
Can they bump it to 40? The new 30?
Yeah, right. Give me 45. Can I get 60 frames? Good Lord, that's a lot. Can I get 45? You know? Oh man.
Pour about 10 frames in there in the cup.
Yeah, put about 10 frames in.
That's why stuff like checkerboard rendering is such a big term in the gaming space because they're doing it specifically so they can get the frame rate up.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
They're essentially essentially allowing the because it doesn't need to put out like high resolution frames. They use an upscaling technique to sort of get it to the point. But yeah, like here's the thing, like it's not like was it the guys that who do Spider-Man, they've been able to do that sort of stuff, and they've been able to sort of essentially offer like a ray tracing option at like a slightly lower frame rate at 4K.
Yeah,
so
well, Insomniac, not all developers are created equal.
It's not all there. Again, I would say this is they don't have to develop a bunch of different versions.
Yeah,
so.
You're right. Insomniac only has to focus on one system.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you guys want to say about this before we move on to the next piece of drama that happened this weekend?
You know what? Gotham, whatever. It's okay.
Yeah. All right.
Sell that game for $40. There you go. Nobody will complain about that one.
Right. At least it's not 70. You know. We kind of touched on this. We'll go with it. Jay Shep, he goes, recently a developer of Rocksteady Games claimed that the Xbox Series S is, quote, holding this generation back as far as visuals and performance for third-party games. Is there any objective truth to this? Yes.
I would agree.
Of course. Of course. I've been saying that shit from the jump about that fucking system. It's going to hold shit back. I mean, the Xbox One is holding it back because remember, Xbox had to make games for that system too. It's absolutely holding shit back. I believe him. By the way, was he the same developer that went on a rant about how gamers don't understand what it takes to have games running at 60 frames per second? I was like, dude, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Just do your thing. But yeah, I mean, is there anyone who disagrees with this statement? I know Torrance is here. I'll tell you why. But
I don't disagree with this statement. But I think that they're going to choose in general. They're going to be choosing a middle ground between their titles that will essentially help out. Essentially give parity, right?
Yeah. Damn, Blitz like that, bruh. He goes, Series S is like Game Pass, caters to cheap ass gamers. Oh man, I don't know about that, but yeah, the S is, come on now, man. Like, I'll stop.
well, I wonder if they're gonna make the Super S.
I mean the X, I don't know. Like, here's the thing, I'm a little torn because, like, yeah, I do want an option that's like cheaper, but if it's gonna be holding shit back, don't release it. But it's already there, I don't know. So yeah, I don't disagree with that developer.
I don't disagree with that statement either. I feel like again they're going to choose parity. They're going to try to make sure that the experiences is fairly similar between all of them, and there you go.
Yeah. Anybody else?
And, and they want all their titles to come out on the same thing. And Xbox obviously, just like anybody else, wants their titles that are released on their SKUs to release at the same time. To be honest, I would say if anything, wait to release those games on the S. Hold them back till the games are done, like until they're done to release, and then release the S version. But then again, people won't like that.
Yeah, but it also goes against Microsoft's creed. It's like everything. Day one.
Yeah, everything day one. Well, maybe if to be honest, in those contracts, maybe they should start. Some of these companies should start putting in a clause which says if you want them to run on your shitty S, you have to pay us more.
Or just run it through the cloud. You could do that.
Or run it through the cloud, or essentially do like what Nintendo does. Is like we can't get this shit to work. All right, cloud thing.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We got to get to the other thing here. Well, I want to hold on a second. No, that's because I'm trying to do this in chronological order. So the next thing that happened. Whoo! Okay, so some people may not know this, but for Bayonetta 3, they got a new voice actress, none other than Jennifer Hale. She's the new Bayonetta. Nobody really knew why. There was like, okay, hey, Jennifer Hale's the new actress. So turns out that the original actress, she posted a tweet on Twitter, video, saying that she was basically offered $4,000 to voice the whole game. Really, it seems like, because I haven't seen the video, so apologies for that. But it seems
her name is Hellena Taylor.
Yeah, Hellena Taylor. And she blamed pretty much Platinum Games, and that led to Hideki Kamiya throwing bombs, saying she was a liar, all this other shit. And it got nasty, and it led to Kamiya just deleting his account. He was blocking a lot, and that dude's already famous for blocking people. He was blocking, and he called fans insects and shit. Like, this guy fucking nasty, But let me read the question in proper. To make it, he goes, do you think the 4K offer to Hellena was a low ball to allow them to move? This is a good question. Okay, I'm going to read this again. Do you think the 4K offer to Hellena was a low ball to allow them to move on without, quote unquote, firing her? They made her audition for the part again. She said so in the video. That's crazy. They made her audition. She was Bayonetta two times.
Go keep going.
Anyway, he goes, and I doubt Jennifer Hale was only paid $4,000. Yeah, no way Jennifer Hale took that job for less than $4,000. Let me just finish. Okay. Also note, she called out Kamiya directly for the offer and her dealings, who has since left Twitter. We know that. And Kishak asked who was at fault. So let's just cram all this together now.
Here's the thing. That is pretty much the same thing that Kojima did to David Hayter.
Yeah.
David Hayter, after every single Metal Gear Solid game, he would have to audition for his role. Now, why would he have to audition for his role if he's Snake and he's the main character? He's always been that main character. This sounds most definitely like a lowball to get her out of the door and put somebody else in the role.
Yeah. By the way, Kishak goes that $4,000 was the increased offer they gave her. Increased.
Yeah. So they're like,
this shit is crazy.
The way they're essentially doing this is essentially just trying to get the nice way of firing her from the role, but but by just using pay, like, oh well, you decided not to do it. This is all we can offer.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, may I say Jennifer Hale is very quiet when it comes to a released game. Usually if a game is released, all these voice actors are all over the place. Right, yes, go buy my new blah 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 blah. She is quiet. She doesn't even have it listed as her thing. She knows what the fuck's going on.
I'm still, Chris, I'll let you go next, but hold on. Bayonetta, the actress, had to audition.
Yes.
That's crazy. I can't get over that. See, if I was her, I'd go into the audition with the 2 games. Here's my audition. I was already her. You know?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not like and I'll say this quick. It's not like a freaking baseball player is like, did you lose your fastball? You know, it's like you're pretty much just talking. You're not singing. You're not. You know,
she's done the role since the beginning for every single iteration, and all of us, and she still needs to do this stuff. No,
what are your qualifications to play Bayonetta? I played her twice.
I played her fucking twice.
Yeah.
Damn. Anyway, Chris, go on, man. This is fucking insane to me.
Oh yeah, Manny's 100% right. They didn't want her to be there. I mean, and not just they didn't want her to be there. It's not that she didn't pass the qualification where they like kind of humiliated her by making her re-audition for the role. The offer is like she said it in her own video is completely insulting. I'm like, you're gonna charge $4,000? How much shit does she have to record and all this stuff, and that's all you're gonna pay her? And like you said, Jennifer Hale, I guarantee she got whatever she asked for, because they didn't want what's her name, Hellena Taylor, the original actress. They didn't want her. They didn't want her. That's and a lot of times companies do that. They don't want to directly fire you. They want you to walk away from the table, and then they can save face and go, "Oh, well, she didn't take our offer." But she broke her NDA and told everyone what the offer was, and everybody's like, "Hey, that's total shit. How are you going to do that?" And then Kamiya went and stuck his foot in his mouth, and of course, he got driven off the internet.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Well, to be honest, like, it's unfortunate. Out of all these different people, like most of the times you hear about voice actors and stuff, and this is by the way, I want to say this. This is the same for stuff that's for shows that are not Screen Actors Guild, part of the Screen Actors Guild. This goes for animation and especially for anime. This is the same bullshit. People who some of the voice actors have spoken about what it's like to work in the anime industry, doing localization. That is utter shit money. It's worse than what Hellena was getting. I will be honest with you. So this is something that has happened. This is something that happens all the time when it comes to these sorts of people when they're starting to do these low budget things. But I think in general, the thing is that they just did not want her at the role for whatever reason. She may have said something that may have. She may have said something that offended Kamiya, and he just said, "Fuck that bitch! I'm gonna give her a low baller so we can get.
I'm gonna block her from the game."
I'm gonna cut her out of this game just for some reason. Even though later on he said, "I love Hellena" and all that other shit. It's okay if you loved her so much, then why the fuck ain't you giving her good money?
Yeah,
she's literally the voice of Bayonetta.
It makes no sense. Makes no sense.
I feel like it's the same sort of situation as what happened to David Hayter. They're just literally for David Hayter, they didn't even call him. They didn't even say thank you for your services. Thank you. We're not going to need you for this title anymore. They literally just didn't even call his ass, and he finds out that they're going to be doing the new Metal Gear. They're already recording the new Metal Gear Solid game, and one of the guys, people's like calls up David and says, "Hey, David, we're recording the new Metal Gear game, and you're not here. Why?"
Oh shit!
That had to do with Kojima's fetish with
Hollywood.
With Hollywood,
yeah.
I think in general, like just looking at the way you never saw Hideo Kojima and David Hayter together. You never saw them at signings. You never saw them at launches. I don't think he ever wanted him.
It's possible.
I think when the time came where because he was talking to his boy Avi Arad, and he says, "I really want to get somebody on this that's known to be the voice of this character," and I think he's just because again he was just looking to every single time David Hayter did a new game, he had to re-audition for the role. Why would he have to do that, especially if he did it if he was part of this this iconic character and voice? It's the same sort of situation. They just wanted to get rid of him, and they're just looking for ways to sort of get rid of him, but not actually say you're fucking fired, and we don't like what what's going on.
And point of fact, they didn't replace the Japanese voice actor. It's
no,
the same
they
guy.
didn't replace. They didn't replace any of the actors in that game. Well, most of the actors in the Metal Gear game, all the Miller's the same. Otacon's the same. Everybody else is the same. But for some reason, David Hayter's gone. That sounds suspect to me.
I
And I think in
wonder
this situation,
if Bayonetta they kept the same the Japanese voice actress.
I suspect they did.
They probably did. We can't confirm that, obviously, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I mean, unless the Bayonetta games are one of those games that just doesn't have a Japanese voice actor.
No, I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Black Viet says you see Keeley with Kojima together more.
Yeah, you do. You see Keeley with Kojima more. You see Kojima with Akio Otsuka more. You see him. In fact, when they did, what was it for Metal Gear Solid 4, right? When he went on the signing tour, he had what's her face? One of the actresses who played one of the B&B Corps with him. Why? Who cares about her? You want to have Snake with him, right? That's like essentially having J.J. Abrams doing his press tour with Star Wars, and then essentially taking one of the random random villains from the background, and that's the only person that they're hanging out with on the press tour. Like, why this guy?
And even in Death Stranding is his love child because he milked the shit out of the celebrities that he was pimping in that game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You saw him all over the place. He was on stage with Guillermo del Toro. He was on stage with Norman Reedus. He was taking lunch photos with Mads Mikkelsen in Japan, all over the place with those guys. And then still taking photos with Akio Otsuka and all the guys that again, essentially the same cast from Metal Gear. All those guys you see in those photos. Where was the other guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, real quick, GZR goes, are people upset with the person who replaced her or upset about the money she was offered? The latter. No one's upset that Jennifer Hale is there. People like Jennifer Hale. No. The problem is that the reason she was let go, because it seems to us it's because they didn't want her anymore, but no one's upset about Jennifer Hale being in part, everybody loves Jennifer Hale,
I'm sure Jennifer Hale is doing a very decent job of.
Yeah, but it's fucked up. The real actress is there already, it's like, come on now. Brian, what's up?
I actually am slightly upset that Jennifer Hale's there purely because she's the voice of every single female character. So she's like the female Nolan North, and it just bugs me.
It could have been what's her face, the other one. Who's the other voice actress that's always picked?
Claudia Webb? No,
damn, I'm forgetting her fucking name. Anyway, she played Nadine. Everybody was pissed off. Why is a white woman playing her?
She's in Last of Us as well, right? That lady.
Probably, she's in everything. I can't believe I'm forgetting. Anyway, go on, Brian. Go. What's your thought? Laura Bailey. Okay. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, I just don't like it when like every single voice actor is just the same person, because then it's like, oh, it's this actor again. Oh, it's this one again. It's like, again, there's so many voice actors in the world that do really great roles, such as the voice of Bayonetta. Let her be the voice of Bayonetta. It's something different, and that's why people enjoyed it. Well, that's part of the reasons why. So just hearing that, it's Jennifer Hale again. It's like, oh, it's FemShep. Lovely. Like, again, to me, it would be FemShep. So hence, it's just a case of
FemShep with an accent,
I would rather live in a world where lots of games have different voice actors rather than it be Nolan North for every single character. I don't like
or what's his face? The other guy. Troy Baker, yeah.
Yeah. Tony, wait, hold on. Tony, where's the diversity?
That's right.
And that's how you actually use the word.
That's how we used to use it back in the day,
So officially, we actually have heard, Jennifer Hale's British voice, because that was the original voice of Naomi Hunter when they turned it to that dry American accent later on.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Remember, in the original Metal Gear, she had a British accent.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Logic Wins. We do need to address this part. This is very important. He goes, I feel for Helena, but she's being extremely selfish here, in my opinion. Just because you were lowballed, those developers still worked hard and spent time away from their families. Calling for a boycott isn't a solution. I agree. Boy, listen, no, you can't. Like, I understand her frustration, but yeah, you can't call for a boycott of this game.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, she's calling for a boycott. No. Come on now.
Yeah, she's calling for a boycott.
The developers who made the game it's not their fault. So yeah, she's very wrong about that.
I mean, I wouldn't say the part of it, like the boycotting part of the game. I wouldn't say that, but to be honest, like she's also saying boycott the game and send that money that you would have sent to use for the game and give it to charity. So,
yeah, but still, I don't like that. I didn't like that part.
I just look. I mean, to be honest, like I think that's it's a weird sort of situation. Because at the one end, yeah, she didn't get what what she wanted. But the thing is that, with all these developers, obviously they did have nothing to do with it. This is the guys at top making these sorts of decisions. That's not her fault.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Like obviously they're trying to cut either one of two things. They're either trying to cut ties with her in a weird sort of way, as opposed to just saying, "Hey, we're thinking of recasting," or the other idea is just like, "We don't want to pay you the money that you think that we've pay you decently for this work." Especially when you look at how many millions these things make. Well, then granted, the Bayonetta games have been solely on a decline. But I don't know. It's a sort of a weird situation, I think.
Yeah,
I just think that go ahead.
No. I was just gonna make a joke. I'm like, if you are gonna boycott the game, boycott it because it's on the fucking Nintendo Switch when it should be on a real
there
system.
You go. Boycott that game because it's on Switch. No.
Yeah. Put it on a real system, guys. Come on now. Anyway, go on.
I mean, to be honest, like to give you an idea, like for it of how much she's getting paid. I mean, to be honest, I made more money doing 2 months of comics than she does, and that for how many hours that she was going to be working for that game, which is a little sad.
That is insane, man. The sad part is I could pay her 3 times that much right now. Like if I want, that. Come on, she's getting nothing, man. That's pathetic.
That's to be honest, in the reality of our world, that is for some people that's 1 month's pay.
Yeah, you're right. 1 month's pay to voice an entire video game.
To voice an entire video game, I don't know how many hours that is that she's going to be doing.
And she, we don't know the royalty situation either.
No, there's no royalties.
Well, there you go.
This situation.
Then,
Number one, this game is obviously not a Screen Actors Guild game. Most games are not Screen Actors Guild games. And as far as royalties go, the voice actors for video games don't get any sort of real royalties off of the sales of games.
Yeah, Nintendo is flipping the bill on this game, so they're going to be cheap as fuck.
Yeah, of course.
They're going to be cheap as fuck. So they probably, it could be a couple of different things. It could be that they had a shitty budget. Part of it, they'd be like, okay, we want to get rid of this girl and put in Jennifer Hale, who's maybe a more well-known actress than as far as games go.
Oh yeah, it definitely is.
So maybe that sort of thing. Maybe they saw that as a way to sort of get more press on the game, but I don't know. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, very upsetting. Any last thoughts on this?
I'll tell you one thing. A lot of shit's coming out because of this. A lot of people talking about things like, I just recently saw that the voice actor or the actor who was in, what was that game? Detroit. He had the same situation. Apparently, he got offered $4,000 for a project, and he didn't say what game it was, but he said, it's because it's not part of the Screen Actors Guild, and he passed on the job. So, there you go. Crazy. This is a common thing. The voice actors getting shafted by the studios that they work for is a common thing. This is not just what's happening with her.
So if it was Detroit, would that mean that? Oh no, never mind. I got two people confused. Never mind.
Whoa.
No, it's the cyborg guy. It's the
Ah.
robot guy from Detroit.
No, because I confused David Hayter with David Cage.
Yeah, no.
I was gonna make that connection. It's like, David Hayter got messed up by Kojima, and then he learned it by treating this, but different person.
Yeah. All right. Moving on here. The next controversy that happened, and this literally happened hours before we started recording, people. Jay Shep, just straight to the point. What are your thoughts about GeForce cancellation? All right, so check this out, some context. So G4 has officially been canceled. How did we find this out? Through Wario64 on Twitter. And mind you, all of the workers didn't know about this either.
It was also, let me also add that it wasn't Wario64 that dropped this information. It was actually from Deadline.
So how did they find out?
I don't see any sort of. I just don't see any sort of thing about it.
Yeah, but either way, the employees. This happened on a Sunday night, by the way. You know, and the employees, obviously, everybody was caught off guard. Manny suspects this was probably going to be announced tomorrow, but it got leaked or whatever. You know, could you imagine that shit? You know, you find out you were fired effectively because of a Twitter post.
Every single person replying to this thing, and the first one was the completionist Gerard. He was the first one to reply to this shit, and he goes, "Hey, this tweet is how I found out I lost my job. How neat!"
Fucking wild, man.
Okay. No, yeah, and and we can confirm that that also Danny said this is the first time he heard of it. Every single person that we know that has been associated with G4 says no. We didn't know about this until this stupid tweet came out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah, I talked to Danny Rafters. He was like, "What the fuck? Nobody saw this coming." You know? Nobody
saw this coming, and judging by the way this memo is written, it seems like it seems like this thing is supposed to be an internal memo that got leaked and essentially put on the internet before it was actually going to hit everybody who works there. Who knows when they were actually going to drop this?
Yeah, I'm going to read the memo. This is from Dave Scott, the chairman and CEO of Comcast. As you know, G4 was reintroduced last year to tap into popularity of gaming.
Well, by the way, it says team on the top there. It says
team. Yeah, he's addressing the team. Yeah. As you know, G4 was reintroduced last year to tap into the popularity of gaming. We invested to create the new G4 as an online and TV destination for fans to be entertained, be inspired, whatever. Over the past several months, we worked hard to generate the interest in G4, but viewership is low and the network has not achieved sustainable financial results. This is certainly not what we hoped for, and as a result, we have made the very difficult decision. It's always a difficult decision, isn't it? To discontinue G4's operations effective immediately. I know this is disappointing news, and I'm disappointed too. I want to thank you and everyone on the G4 team for the hard work and commitment to the network. Our human resources reaching out to you to provide you with support, discuss other opportunities that may be available, and answer any of your questions. Thank you again for your hard work for G4. So, yeah.
So, yeah, just looking at the Dateline article again, and it says, a full memo which Dateline obtained from a source. So somebody internally leaked this. This is an internally leaked memo.
Man, what a fucking mess, you know? So, yeah, what do you guys thought? We were already talking about this beforehand, you know? But here's, you know what, I'll just start it off, right? G4, it was not going to, the new G4 was not going to be able to take off the way people expected. Like, I know people wanted like a resurgence G4. The thing is, there are so many other gaming options, so many other gaming viewing options out there. I hate to say it so bluntly, you didn't need a G4. G4 was not doing anything differently than like hundreds or thousands of other gaming channels are doing and have been doing since G4 went off air. Like, obviously G4, specifically the gaming part, was a very big deal back in the day. You never had anything like that on TV. You don't need that anymore. You have the internet for that. And let's just be honest here, not a lot of people watch TV anymore. They're, people cut cable and all that because you just get all this stuff, high quality stuff on YouTube now. So it was.
This is also on. Yeah. This is also on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it was. But again,
service.
But again, they weren't doing anything that was different that you haven't been getting from people for 10 years now or more. You know what I'm saying? So that it sucks that this happened, obviously, but I'm just speaking for myself here. I knew the days were numbered, man. I knew what are you guys doing here? Like again, I'm not speaking about the quality of the shows. I'm speaking about they weren't doing anything really to differentiate themselves from the hundreds of thousands of other streamers and YouTubers and all this other stuff.
I would say if they were to have done this fairly close to when G4 fell apart, like when Sessler was doing Revision 3, if they decided to jump into that space, I feel like the iron was still hot at that point in time, to where you could have these sorts of gaming channels like the Giant Bomb and all those things used to have those sorts of things. I feel like if they did that, it was like 2012, I would say.
Yeah, if they would have pivoted, because that's when gaming broadcasting was like really taking. I mean, things were going on before that, obviously, way before that, in like the mid 2000s, or when YouTube started, there was already gaming shit going on. But yeah, had they done that, they probably would have been, if they would have just pivoted to that.
Yeah,
but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah, they transitioned. They transitioned a lot of their shows and stuff to online sort of things. I feel like it would have probably been a better situation. But I feel like as the years have gone on, obviously people have fond memories who've ever seen G4. But we literally have a whole generation of people who've never ever saw it on television ever before.
Yeah, again, it's just ironic because G4 pioneered the shit we see on YouTube now. You're right. They could have been there at the beginning. One subset, because it's related, he goes, now that G4 is shutting down, will we ever see any type of gaming focused channel? You have them already. They're on YouTube. They're all over the place on YouTube. And again, TV is not prominent anymore.
You look at guys like Victor Lucas, who still has his Electric Playground. Now Electric Playground has been in syndication for years, even before there was any sort of G4. Yeah. And he's been able to transition into YouTube almost seamlessly. He still has his show. He still does his interviews. He still does all the same shit that he did when he was just doing it as an independent, when he was doing it, selling it in syndication. So he was able to make that transition. And to be honest, I feel like that personally, I think is the future now. It's that sort of thing. And I think G4 was trying to do that sort of idea, but I think their situation is that to be honest, I think they spent too much money on it.
I was just about to say that, like, the amount of money they put into this is unnecessary. You have YouTube channels that are at the same or better quality as G4 with only 5 dudes or less. And they're doing quality stuff, so you don't need like a big budget thing to do that. And I'm not talking shit. I'm just talking about the realities of the situation. You have YouTubers out there. Sometimes it could be 2 guys. The dude on the camera and the editor, and that's all you really need.
Yeah. To be honest, like you look at Red Letter Media and Screen Rant and a bunch of these other guys, they have their little sets, but they're not nearly spending the same amount of money on their little things. And I feel like if they weren't,
my best friend Greg Miller's doing that.
Greg Miller. See, here's the thing. Greg Miller is literally doing what G4 was attempting to do, and he's probably doing it for hundreds of dollars less than what they're doing it for. He has, I guess he rented a space. He has a little studio space. He does all this stuff there. That is the thing. And I feel like maybe they might have spent way too much on this and really should have just went a little bit cheaper on it. And to be honest, that's how G4 sort of started. It was sort of on the cheap. Those shows weren't fucking, $1 million shows. But you look at that space that really nice looking space that they're working in. Which But at the same
Hey,
time, that's
man.
probably how much were they paying for that just to have that space? Then hiring professional wrestlers, yo, drop all that shit. Just I think they did have a good idea by getting familiar
Yeah.
internet people, like again, like the completionist, like a few other people. I think they got the I can't remember the girl who's into Resident Evil. They got her to show up a couple of times.
Well,
So,
I'm going to disagree with you on
oh
Oh,
that
yeah.
because Comcast gave this channel an identity crisis. They were trying to do two disparate things at the same time. They've
Mm,
invested millions of dollars in an esports stadium, right? They want
mm-hmm,
to focus on esports and make that part of their kind of programming. And the problem with it is they decided to pick up this legacy network and go, okay, this is going to promote our esports platform. Well,
mm-hmm,
the way G4 left off was it was doing like 70% pop culture and 30% gaming. So then they
mm-hmm,
decided, like, oh, well, we'll give it credibility by hiring, like you said, completionists and all these people, and then we'll
mm-hmm,
bring Froskin from, and she used to do esports like League of Legends or something. We're gonna bring in
mm-hmm,
this esports talent and this YouTube gaming talent or whatever, and then we'll bring back
mm-hmm,
these old school people like Adam Susser that they know, and then we'll give Kevin Pereira back his old show. No, that's immediately have an identity crisis. Either G4 is you're bringing back the channel that everybody remembers, or you're
mm-hmm,
going to refocus it on esports. And they should have stuck in that direction. And I will agree, they
mm-hmm.
did spend way too much money on this. I mean, they gave them a studio and all. They threw money at it, right? But they were throwing money at the stadium, so they just budgeted it in and just like, okay, we're going to give you a studio and everything you need to make this a success. That's not what make that. No channel has gotten success because they have millions of dollars. All these guys were
Mm-hmm.
broke, and like you said, Red Letter had to build their stuff up. Guys like Angry Joe, all these guys, they didn't have money. They didn't have
Mm-hmm.
Comcast bankrolling them. That is not what
Yeah.
makes success. That was their misunderstanding from the beginning. If you throw money at
Mm-hmm.
it, they're immediately going to get YouTube credibility. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
The second mistake was you need an identity for this channel. This either is
Yeah.
G4, which if you're going to use the name and say this is G4 TV is back, that means the channel that you killed in 2012, that one is back, right? But that's not what you wanted. What you wanted was an esports platform. And that's what this should have
Mm-hmm.
become, an esports platform. It should have been promoting esports games. It should have been talking about those games. It shouldn't have had Attack of the Show. You didn't need Adam Sessler back. You don't need completionists. You don't need any of that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to pull in talent, people who maybe have been let go from Blizzard's esports and other guys to who know that world to come in and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Guys from FGC, get them in there, talk about that stuff. That's
Okay,
esports.
so I mean, to be honest, like I don't see what you said as that much of a disagreement. I mean, I agree with everything you just said there. So I definitely think I agree that they definitely seem like they had a sort of identity crisis. Yeah, if you're going to be classic G4, then be classic G4. If you're going to be esports G4, then be esports G4. But then
Yeah.
I think that at that point in time, if they're using that name G4, that would mean that there's certain expectations behind it. And
I,
I think
I don't
esports.
see why
I think
Chris. I'm gonna have to push back a little bit though, just a little bit. I don't see why you can't have both. You could have like a Twitch channel focus on all the esports stuff, and then you have the YouTube channel focus on reviews and all that, which people want. You could have both of those, can't you? It's still gaming.
Well,
But I
you
agree with
could.
you. Attack of the Show didn't need to be there. That's not gaming.
Yeah, that was just a vestige from the old channel, which are like, oh,
Mhm.
people like that, right? That's
Yeah.
what they're thinking. Like, oh, people love that show. And I didn't know this, but apparently Olivia Munn at some point was dating the son of the president of Comcast.
No,
And
I
she
didn't know
was the one
that.
she put it in his ear that why not bring G4 back? And that's when they went and spent all this money. So, and what did she work on at G4? She was on Attack of the Show.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Um, J Shep asks, and we do have to address this. He goes, I gotta ask, was Frost part to blame? She didn't help. She
She did not.
absolutely did not help. That was a
Yeah.
mess. You know, here's the thing. I understand she was getting attacked and all that, which fucking sucks. But you gotta understand, you can't just, if you're gonna blast the fans like that, there's gonna be repercussions. You know, I'm not trying to get too deep into it, but yeah, that did not help at all. You know.
Yeah, I don't think that. You know, obviously you want to air your grievances about certain things, you know, but I also think that if you're starting to attack your own fan base, I think that is what becomes sort of a problem, because it's assuming that everybody is the problem, and I don't think that was the answer. I think, you know, obviously, you know, definitely, you know, go in that situation and all that stuff, but I think, yeah, I don't think that helped. I mean, I think the biggest thing about like gaming, you know, gaming content and stuff like that is when it starts to become, it goes to the point when it starts to, and you know, essentially clap back at the people that are actually watching it. And a lot of people obviously don't you know, obviously have the, you know, obviously don't like that sort of stuff that goes on. You know, those asshole bad eggs that do all kinds of bullshit on the internet. That sucks. But when you start coming down on everybody for that, I do think that can become a problem.
Yeah, I think she did the Twitter mistake 101, and assuming that everyone that's a hater is part of the crowd that actually supports the site and or the channel or the network or the show. It's like whenever you go on a rant that goes on, you know, sort of these generalities, you got to also assume that the people that are actually supporting you are part of the crowd. So who knows? And also part of the problem is I don't think there was a lot of people left that were actually fans of G4 or the specific networking in G4. It was all based, you know, they were all trying to get the member berries, and those, you know, that was an old ancient type of show or network back in the day. It doesn't work at these times. Everything's evolved. YouTube has all these shows. There's so much more competition. It's fucking ridiculous, including we talking about esports. I mean, just Twitch in general, and there's like thousands of channels you can literally go to and people go to consume content other than that, including this show, you know?
Yeah. By the way, real quick, Hideki Kamiya is back. He's just tweeting in Japanese now. But his pinned tweet is the one where he calls people insects, so yeah. Fucking guy. But yeah, again, man, like I said, I when G4 first launched, I go, that's kind of cool, but I'm like, what are you going to do to differentiate themselves? And then when the whole Frost thing happened, I'm like, okay, this is not going to end well. And unfortunately, it didn't, you know?
Yeah, it's just not a good look to go like on those types of rants.
Yeah.
Which kind of, for me, when I saw that, it just screamed of insecurity. And but I did. It's not like I thought that show or that network was going to survive anyways. We saw the writing on the wall.
No. Yeah, again, there's so many other options out now, you know, and they weren't really doing anything to differentiate themselves. Again, there are people with way less teams, you know, or lesser teams, way less money that are doing equally or better content, you know, and have been doing it for many years, you know.
And you know, and then you know, people have said that X-Play does pretty well.
Yeah.
But you know, one single show cannot sustain a whole network.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. The X-Play was like for obvious reasons was the best. It was the best thing. But like Chris said, if you just focus on the gaming stuff, you probably would have been all right. You know. But I do. Like, here's what I think they should have done. Yeah. But go ahead.
Also, that thing with the other part of it was all those stunts that they kept doing, which is also kind of silly too. You know, like they're constantly doing like double dare shit on their show, their shows. I feel like that doesn't help anything too, because what the fuck does that have to do with gaming in the first place?
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, I know this was Comcast, this was unrealistic, but it would have actually been smarter to start small and then build it up, like a regular YouTuber does.
I
know?
agree 100% with that. Yeah, they
Yeah.
should have been testing stuff. And this is a problem with a big network that has billions of dollars.
Yeah.
They don't test anything. They just went all in. They're just like, oh, okay, budget $15 million. Here you go. They don't know how YouTube works. They know how TV works.
Yeah.
And they know how film works, right? They don't understand YouTube. They don't understand like grassroots stuff. They're just like, okay, we have our stadium. We need our esports teams. Blah blah blah. Okay, what do we budget? $30 million. Okay, we need a network to promote it. Okay, reactivate G4. Here's a few $1 million, but give them an office. They just threw money at it.
Yeah, no, they should have started small, like just a small team, and I would even say, listen, you don't even need Sessler. I would get new people that are like already popular, like in the current landscape, right? That's a good base to start with. Start them small, whatever, and then you build it up. But again, like Chris, like you said, they don't understand how YouTube works. YouTube, it's grassroots. You start from the bottom and you build, But these guys, here's everything, go. You're a success now. It doesn't work like that. That's that's ancient shit. And this is why the question was like, how do you make can you make proper gaming focused channel? Yeah, you can on YouTube, not on TV. That shit's done.
Yeah.
I think there's another part of the question. Kind of related to this, one subset also asked, what does it take to have longevity in a gaming focused channel? Just like with anything, consistency, man. You keep it going, but like you said, you start grassroots, you start building up your fan base and stuff, put out consistent content, good content, learn from your mistakes, obviously, keep building, and hopefully, one day you will, at least be able to live off of it, But that's kind of just general advice for anything,
But it's funny because again, they get guys like the Escapists on there. Like, how come there wasn't an Escapist like show on there?
Oh, completionist, you mean?
A completionist, excuse me, the Escapist. How come there wasn't a completionist like show? That's literally like sort of like more of a hardcore gamer sort of styled show where it tells you how long he beat the game, what he did to get all the trophies or achievements in it. Like, how come that didn't exist? That's a perfect thing to have on a video game network. Or how about there isn't, like they used to do those really great documentaries, and there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are doing amazing documentaries.
Yeah.
So why can't you have that on that?
But I would build up to that. I wouldn't start that right away. I would focus on the thing people want most first. Gaming, right? You focus on just, hey, here's the review. Here's us streaming. Focus on that, right? The kind of surefire stuff with a bunch of known people. And then you can start doing all the other cool stuff. Here's a gaming documentary about this. Here's a spotlight on this person. You know what I'm saying? Here's our esports thing. You build up to that stuff. But like Chris said, these guys are too narrow in their thinking. So they weren't even sort of.
It's even sort of how they built their own sort of network. Like they didn't. I mean, granted. G4, the G4 that existed, that the high point of the G4 was when it merged with Tech TV.
Yeah.
Right. But they essentially inherited a lot of things from the original Tech TV. So like the screensavers became the tech of the show, which the screensavers used to be more of a tech-based sort of show. Then they had a couple of other things, and they just started off from that, and those things, those staples, essentially extended themselves into other things. Later on they started doing those documentaries.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they started doing anime, and that was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Showing what was it? What was that? The one with the shark in it? The guy that was turned into the shark.
Yeah, I don't remember.
That was on there.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff.
Better Man. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Any last thoughts on G4?
Yeah, I have some.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, again, it is really hard, like, not to echo exactly what you guys have all said, because I feel mostly the same way. So the whole thing was like a weird situation in that they had the funds to make something like really great, like so they could take on people that you normally cannot take on, and make something like really good. And they had the name as well, so they could branch off that name or use that name and springboard off it, and with the funds hire good people and get good content out there. So everything was primed for success, They had everything like stacked in their favor, but yet it still just fell stupidly apart. And that's the thing that gets me. It's like, how did it fall apart? And the question that I don't think people are talking about is, are the people who made the decisions going to learn from the mistakes?
You know they're
Chances
not.
are they're not.
No.
They're not, and that's the other thing that bugs me. It's like people are going to do this and they're going to blame something else. I don't know what they're going to blame. They're going to blame something, but it's obvious that the viewership wasn't there, and the question becomes, why wasn't the viewership there? And that's what no one's going to take from this. Instead, they're going to take, they're going to take the wrong thing from this whole experience, and that's going to be like the worst part of it all. So yeah, and it's just kind of really funny. It's like, come on, like they had everything that you needed to get great success, in my opinion, and just squandered. So to me, it kind of looks like a weird Ponzi scheme where a lot of people just got a great payday and a bunch of other people got screwed over.
Yeah, it's upsetting, man. You know, what happened to those people? Again, they got caught off guard with this shit, you know?
Oh, and also, don't tell people not to watch your stuff, because shock and horror and surprise, if you tell people not to watch your stuff, they don't watch your stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what... Just like, oh, don't buy my game, don't buy my comic. Okay, I won't. That's what happens, you know? I don't get it, man, but there it is. Rest in peace, G4. You know, maybe it'll come back another 20 years.
And then, just like springboard of that, watch the Throwdown.
Yeah, there you go. Watch Throwdown. You know, we don't have $1 million budget, and we still give you quality shit. You know, again, you don't need that much, man. You really don't. You know, one dude with a camera. That's all you need, and then you build up to it. You know, Throwdown. We started small too. It was like 3 motherfuckers. You know,
It is now is 7 motherfuckers.
Exactly. You know, oh man.
Yeah. All you need is yourself and a PSI camera. And who knows? No places.
It's true, though. You know, look at Hip Hop Gamer. Look where he is right now. Motherfucker started with a PSI camera. Look at him now. You know? But again, these giant fucking corporations don't understand that shit. They throw money at it, it'll be successful. No. Who brought up Layla Kaylee in the chat, man? Yeah, I remember she was hot, man. All right, let's move on here. All right, now we're just regular questions. Good stuff. A lot of drama in this industry over one weekend, man. Hold on, who threw us stuff? Fergus Mills with the cheer, man. Like that, the bits. Thank you, sir.
Shout out to Fergus Mills.
Future Ragnarok giveaway. Yeah, you already know. Thank you for reminding me. You know, maybe we'll give away 2 games. We'll see about that. You know, and that's because of you guys giving us bits. We got funding here. You know, that I appreciate that fact, because it does cost us a little bit of money. You guys fund this stuff. You know, which is very cool.
We don't need corporations.
Yeah, we don't, man. We got people. We got you guys, man.
Yeah, and our new sponsor, Shill Scare.
Yeah, right. Fucking Shadow League Legends. Let's go. You know.
But by the way, I purposely said Shill Scare on
Shill Scare. Oh man.
It's
Shill Scare.
Shill Scare.
Shill Scare. Yeah. Shillscape. You know. Oh man. All right. Let's move on here. Black Mage. All right. Maji, yeah. His first question is: it looks like 343 Industries is the only studio to have successfully created a Halo killer.
Oh my
damn, son!
Tell us how you really know.
Yeah. So he goes, oh, so once the ink has dried on the Activision deal, is it plausible for Call of Duty to become the new flagship title for Microsoft? I know Forza and Gears are big, but no one is complaining about Forza fanboys being toxic throughout the years. Oh yeah. Call of Duty is going to be de facto their main shooter now. You know,
it already is. Look at the talks between Sony and Microsoft.
Hold on, let's back up, Carlos. You could argue it's been Microsoft's like top for FPS game for like 12 years. You know, if you think about it.
360.
Yeah, since Halo 4 came out. Let's just be real here. All right, that's an easy one. It already has been. You know,
that already has been, but I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that being the one that they sort of focus on, and maybe take a little break from Halo.
You know, Halo. All right, that was an easy one. Next up, what's your favorite demo disc experience? He goes, What titles were included? He goes, mine was original PlayStation Magazine number 23, which included Final Fantasy VIII, Macross VFX 2, Jade, Cocoon, and Tiny Tank, among a few others. So yeah, what were your favorite demo discs, and what was on it?
I was used to be part of the PlayStation Underground, and I used to actually get the discs in the mail. I have a certificate from Andrew House that says that it appreciates my what do they call it, my insight on when it comes to games. It was silly. It's just not. It doesn't mean anything. But anyway, yeah, I would say the demo that I did enjoy was, and it wasn't from PlayStation Underground. It was actually the one that came with Metal Gear Solid. Zone of the Enders, and that's the Metal Gear Solid 2 one, and an honorable second one is the one that came with Xenogears, which was the it had like a couple of demos for some games on there. I can't remember which ones, and then it also had Final Fantasy VIII shit on there. So that was the two.
Yeah, I mean, it all kind of blends in for me, but like, I really like the demo disc that came in the Dreamcast magazine, right? And some that like even there was one that even came with the Dreamcast. That was a really good demo disc. Had a bunch of stuff on there, you know. And also like Manny, I really like the demo disc with Metal Gear Solid 2. Played the fuck out of that, you know.
Yeah,
a lot of good stuff.
Next Generation magazine used to have a lot of really cool
they used
demo
to.
discs.
Yeah, that's why it all
They
kind of
had
blends in for me because we all got those magazines, you know. So
Yeah,
you know,
it's tough to pick one. I know I used to subscribe to PSM and PlayStation Magazine and EGM and what's the one with the guy, the mascot? He had the TV face. Was it Game Fan?
Game Fan, yeah.
Game Fan used to
Yeah,
But
man.
I
subscribe
don't
to that.
remember them. I don't remember them
I don't.
coming with demo discs.
No, I don't know about that. GamePro didn't, right?
No, GamePro didn't
No,
either.
not that. But didn't PSM? PSM had a
PSN
disc.
did.
I had to.
Yeah, I believe so.
PSM
Yeah.
did sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had a couple through them, but the the demo I remember, like you guys, I played the shit out of, and the only reason I didn't even start Zone of Enders till I played the fucking tanker mission 50 times, and then I finally got around. I only bought Zone of Enders because it had the Metal Gear demo on it.
I feel like that was the same for a lot of people. It's like, here, it's a demo that has a game with it.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, this game ain't bad, you know.
Yeah, there was also a bunch of Sega Saturn discs I used to like too, like a bunch of demo discs and stuff. Like, it was a lot.
For Adam, I would say it would be Crackdown, because that is the one that came with the demo for Halo 2.
You gotta be
Yeah,
Crackdown.
it was crack.
Not only was it in the Halo, you got the Halo stuff. For me, so I'm gonna go. Manny's mentioned PlayStation Underground. I'll go with PlayStation Underground, specifically the one that had Metal Gear Solid 1 on it, because I think that one, because a lot of them kind of bleed in together, but I think this one came with like Gran Turismo and like Spyro, and it came with like a bunch of games, and so yeah, like it was loaded with a whole bunch of games for that demo disc. I'm trying to think back. I still don't remember how the hell I even got those, because I remember we got them in the mail, but I didn't pay anything.
No, if you subscribe, it was no paying. If you subscribe to the PlayStation Underground, they just send you discs randomly. Like, to be honest, I never got like every single PlayStation Underground disc. I have a feeling that the mailman was stealing my shit.
Yeah.
But sometimes I would get those discs and sometimes I wouldn't. So I actually still have a few of them. Like, I have one that has Eco on it, and all, like the the game. But yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with that one. I think it was like PlayStation Underground 8, a demo disc 8 or something like that. I don't know. It was number 8 for sure. Great. That shit blew me away, because I was playing the Gran Turismo demo and it started fucking raining. I'm like, damn, this shit looks incredible.
He's so real.
It's so real.
Oh man! All right, anybody else demo discs? I'm gonna take that as a. Brett, are you still there, man? You feeling all right? All right.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. He's just with us.
I'm cooking dinner, man.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Maybe he'll come back later. That's good. Eat some food. All right. Moving on here. Toon Medic. Our boy Michael Santiago.
What's up, Michael?
This guy. I mean, we've talked about this a lot lately, obviously. But let's actually quantify this for real because we've debated about this shit. So the question is this the worst start to a new generation in gaming history? So we got to look at everything now. Because obviously we are very upset with this generation. But is it actually the worst start?
I can't talk the NES or before that, since I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
I'm still alive. I feel so alive. Yeah, I would say yes, because SNES had a great lineup. N64 at least had some classic games at release. PlayStation.
Yeah, N64 and PS1 were the same generation, right? So was Saturn. Those were. I mean, Saturn was interesting because like it launched earlier than it should have, you know.
Yeah.
And then obviously fucking Dreamcast, you know. Nothing will ever top that shit, you know. I mean, that was just one console and stuff. Obviously, we're talking about generations here, but that no other system ever exploded like that, you know. And again, they had so many games. They had to come with a demo just to show you how many games were on there, you know. Fucking wild. Okay, let's go back a bit. So, is this generation worse starting than last gen? Let's start with that at least. Because
Last gen was pretty bad.
Last gen was pretty terrible.
Okay, what were the launch titles for last gen?
Here's the thing. Hold on, we got to take it back. I think this one may be the worst by default because most of the games were are last gen games, right? You say what you will about last gen, at least those games were current gen games. You know what I'm saying? Like there were, you know, crossover games or whatever, but they were still current gen games. This generation, we haven't had any of that, especially on Xbox.
Yeah, so it's like, it's like, can we even give them credit for the games since they weren't even made for the consoles?
Yeah,
it's like, you know, it's like Horizon Forbidden West. Do we give credit?
I think this generation is automatically the worst by default. If you go by those standards, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And even if you expand it to 2 years after the fact, it's pretty fucking bad, man. 2 years into last gen, we were getting some dope shit. With The Witcher, you know, Metal Gear, Batman, you know, we were getting some good stuff 2 years in. The fuck are we getting now, man?
This generation hasn't even started. We're still
the generation is still
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, Saints Row, you know? I think you know what? I don't think we have to explore any further. This is the worst generation.
Ratchet and Clank and Returnal were like the first, you know, two like PS5 only titles.
Yeah. And they're still the only PS5, you know, and All Stars Destruction. We got to count that too, you know?
Oh, I count anything.
Wow, this generation's fucking terrible, man, you know? And by the way, I know somebody, what about the Switch? We're talking about that shit. You know,
or the Switch. Theoretically,
that's a last gen. Technically, that's 2 gens ago.
Console.
Think about it.
Or the folks who mentioned, what are you talking about? You know, there's fucking Sackboy and all these other games, and I'm like, I can play them on the PS4.
Yeah,
it's like there's no point for me to like even brag about this for the next generation if they're not even like exclusively for the next generation. They were made for the next generation. It's like I could have played it. Do we give credit for do we just remove credit to the PS4 for being able to play God of War Ragnarok? Like, who gets credit for that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but again, most generations, just to be fair here, most generations do start pretty bad. But at least they're exclusive games, you know?
Yeah, at least the most recent ones have been pretty bad. Yeah.
Like, say what you will about Xbox One. Xbox One had exclusive games on it, you know? PlayStation 4 had exclusive games at launch. The fuck do this generation we didn't have that. Again, Xbox still hasn't had that. No, there's no Series X exclusive game at all. You know? And PlayStation has 3 exclusives. This generation sucks, man. I sound like I'm getting pissed off at myself by repeating this shit, but it's true.
I'm mad.
You know? I'm mad at myself, you know? But it sucks. It sucks, you know? Like, if you go ahead, man.
You said Series X. Like, does Series S count as current gen to you?
Yeah, it is because it came out this generation. So yeah. Even though you know how I feel about that system.
Yeah.
Is there anything? I mean, I don't think any of us disagrees with this. Maybe Adam would be like, "Oh, I like this and that," but it's like, come on, man. We've voiced our fucking concerns about this generation for 2 fucking years already. You know, 2 years. Where's the games at, man?
The Series the Series S is still better than the previous generation, isn't it?
By default, you know.
No, not by default. I mean, like power wise, like it's still those
That's
are
what
still
I'm saying,
the
by
most...
default because of power. Yes, obviously.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's a current gen system. It is a current gen system. We have to give it that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's disappointing, man.
Yeah, it's just.
I'll buy a next gen console when the generation starts.
Yeah, it hasn't started yet. You know.
Yeah.
I ain't missing nothing.
We're still.
I mean, you got like 3-4 years to save up.
You know, Richard.
Oh yeah, great.
Hold on, we're gonna read this real quick. Richard Bailey goes, "Spider-Man 2 will be the next major PS5 console exclusive until it comes to PC a year later." Is the S better than the 1X? Asked Fergus Mills. Is it? I don't know.
I believe it is.
It has to be. I'm assuming it is.
I thought it was slightly. It was on par with their.
Yeah. Chancleta Mangu, what is going on, brother? He goes, yes, it is. It does 1440p, 120 frames a second. Okay, there you go. My man. Thank you for that. Fucking whack-ass generation. All right, let's move on. I'm already getting annoyed.
Give me the whack.
But I like the question, though. Thank you, Michael. You know, Kiss Shack. Would you guys be disappointed if PlayStation didn't have a showcase this year? Thought they had one already. Didn't they do something in September?
Yeah, they just had one.
They had one. So there you go.
There you go.
Correct us if I'm wrong here, but wasn't that the showcase?
Yeah.
Because remember,
Clearly, it was memorable.
Yeah. No, but I remember we were asked, is PlayStation going to have a showcase? And I'm like, what the fuck are they going to show? Carl was like, they're going to show something. And then literally the next day they announced it, you know?
Yeah.
Or is that something else, you know?
I guess it just depends on whether you consider State of Play a showcase.
Isn't that a show? Isn't that what they are now?
Hold on. See something. Tony,
what's up?
What did they show at that PlayStation showcase?
Who the fuck knows, man?
Yeah, I love the fact you're like, no, I remember it because we talked about it on the show. Like, oh yeah, what was it about? I don't fucking remember. It was completely unmemorable.
Yeah, I know it exists. I know that. You know.
Yeah, but you only know it exists because we talked about it.
Yes. In the chat, they're saying State of Play is not a showcase. So to answer the question, no. What do they have to show? They have nothing. PlayStation doesn't have shit. What are they going to see? The fucking God of War Ragnarok? You know? Woo! We already seen that already. What else do they have to show? Spider-Man. New, right? Spider-Man would be dope, though. I'll give you that. But again, that's not going to come out for another 2 or 3 years, right?
Carlos, timestamp.
Something?
Sorry, I
134, Brian.
Yeah.
You know?
That was Brett. Thank you, Brett.
1:35 and 30 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. That's what's Sony good. Okay. You know what? Let's go into speculation time. Why the fuck not? And I'll let the fans take care of this one. What do you? What
is this? Fan zone?
If I'm throwing out your questions, I'm asking a question. If PlayStation had a showcase, what would they show? I'm asking the fans this, so we'll wait a little bit. But to me, like, what's the difference between a state of play and a showcase? Isn't that the same thing?
Something realistic, like
Something realistic, please. Don't give us Wolverine. You know,
we already got Wolverine.
fucking Barry Burton.
What about Wolverine?
What about Wolverine? What about Spider-Man? You know, what can they show at a showcase in November of a game that's going to come out in the next 6 months?
Learn about brand new games these days because it's not like they just announce a game. They make
do
an
have games in
announcement of them working on a project that then later gets announced as a game.
Yeah.
But then later it gets an actual announcement with a trailer and then another announcement with a gameplay trailer.
Yeah. J-Ship goes, so Sony has no games in development. Of course they have games in development. I'm asking you, what do you realistically think is going to come out in the next 6 months?
Yeah, it's
Seriously, what do you want? I know I'm getting ornery here, but what the hell do you expect them to show at this thing? Let's just say, for the sake of argument, right? Because October's we're like halfway through, right? Showcase November, whatever, on a Thursday. What are they going to show?
Let's call it what it is. They're expecting something new. They're expecting a new killer IP from Sony that's just going to decimate the competition. Like it's not what they expect; it's what they want.
Yeah. Forbidden West DLC. Come on now.
No, they want something, and you can tell. Like the funny thing is, like you listen to PlayStation fans, and like you can tell that they want something new from when the way that they're talking is like. But they won't say they want something new. They're like, oh, Sony's. I don't want anything new, but Sony's going to bring out something brand new, and I'm really excited about it because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, right. Oh, Logic wins. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Gotta have something.
He goes another remake. Don't say that because they probably will do that shit.
They'll probably do that.
Because remember, Horizon Forbidden West or Zero Dawn? One of those. Zero Dawn. That's rumored. Logic wins. Don't jinx it.
That'll be part of the showcase. A game like Dinosaur High will be shown.
Another one? Did that shit already come out?
Dinosaur High 2. Last of Us TV show stuff.
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, to answer the actual question, would I be disappointed? No, I wouldn't be disappointed if they don't have one because they have nothing to show. Let's be real here. I don't know.
Yeah, we're on Remake Central right now.
Carlos, remember in 2021 they were like, wait till 2022. That's going to be the year. It's going to be stacked. And now this year, wait till 2023. It's going to be stacked.
This is going back, and I got to ask a question.
Oh, I'm throwing on your questions. You're asking a question?
Why is it?
Isn't it crazy? I remember this was years ago when I started making fun of people for wait for E3. This was years ago, and I'm pretty and my question is, because I've seen this going around on the internet now, like this is like ammo that PlayStation fanboys say to Xbox fanboys, like they use the wait for E3 thing, and I don't know, maybe I'm just too egotistical, but was that me who came up with this?
No, that's been a thing for years, man.
Has it?
Yeah, like the whole making fun of Xbox, like wait till next year. That's been a thing.
No, like
years.
wait for E3.
Yeah, that's been around for years. Yeah.
Okay.
That's not you. I've known that independent of you, but who knows? Maybe you did come up with it. I
could have been influenced. It's a butterfly effect. You never know.
Yeah, right. Fuck it. I'm giving you the credit. Why not?
I'm taking it.
J-Ship goes, Tony, you mean like no games? No gameplay to show, or like no titles? They have titles, but again, you're gonna show us something, and then you're not gonna be able to play that within the next 6 months. What's the point of having a showcase then?
Well, yeah, Sony is not, and everyone is not new to announcing games that are 5 to 10 years into the future. So.
But again, let's just, for the sake of argument, say they do that. You're going to be disappointed because you're not going to play these games anytime soon. You're going to show me Spider-Man. Cool. I will play Spider-Man 2 all day, every day, right? Wolverine as well. Anything by Insomniac, I'm already there, right? But when are we getting these games?
Is one of the realistic developers that could potentially have it ready because they've been on freaking overdrive.
Is the showcase only limited to what's coming out in the last 6 months? No, but why would you need to have one if not that? What the hell's the point? That's my question, Spider-Man slated for 2023. We'll see about that. I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm saying they're a liar. I don't trust release dates anymore. I absolutely do not trust them anymore.
I'm curious. Do you how do you think the best way to really for a game to release these days is?
I don't know how to answer that anymore. See, back when the world wasn't crazy, I would have said announce it at E3 and launch it in the fall, like Fallout 4, right? But nowadays, I don't know. I have no idea. Now everything's topsy-turvy, Because the problem is you need to kind of appease two masters here, gaming companies do. They got to appease the shareholders, so you got to announce shit years in advance, but then you piss off the fans because they're like, what the fuck is this game, So, I don't know.
Actually, there's a middle ground that I will say, so I've been sick and I've been laying around and I have been playing the shit out of Grounded. And I actually have to take this opportunity to really, hats off to Obsidian. They fucking nailed this game. You would hate it, Tony. It's a survival game, but
yeah, no, I'm not interested in that Honey Unrestricted Kid shit. I'm good.
Dude, it is just a well put together game. Fun. It's got a lot of polish to it, and weirdly enough, because I saw some of the stuff, in their subreddits and whatnot. The fans of the subreddit and everything like that, the fans of the game are just like, hey, way to go, guys. We got the full release. You did an amazing job. You kept us happy the whole time. 2 thumbs up, 10 stars, awesome. And weirdly enough, nobody's said anything about, I haven't heard anything about this. It was just kind of, released so quietly. But
it's been in beta for a year, hasn't it?
They put it in, and that's the thing. They put it in early release for 2 years, and they let the community be part of the development. They actually listened to the fan base. They implemented changes that they wanted to see. They constantly brought out new updates, but didn't break the game for the people that were already playing it, right? When I played it about a year ago, they had up to the second lab, which is the little mini bases in the game. Right, it was an open world, and then they upped to the second lab, and now I come back and there's 6 or 7 labs. I don't even fucking know right now. But there's different labs, there's different mechanics, there's different enemy types. Just the way that they added stuff was, awesome. They made a well-rounded game, and then they started padding it by adding different systems and adding this kind of cooking system, or adding this kind of crafting system, or adding this kind of mechanic system or fighting mechanic. And they just kind of, listened to what people said, bolted things on, and they did an amazing job. And I think I just wanted to say something because, number one, you guys killed it. Number two, maybe this is what we have to do from now on. Maybe we have to let go full transparency.
Only with not for every game, though.
Not necessarily for every game, but I will say, early access can be a fucking plague, but when it's done right, you will genuinely make some of the best stuff ever. Because if we look at all the games that have eventually come into their own, it's been through player feedback. And there's this unique phenomenon that happens with humans where we disseminate, our brains are built to disseminate information amongst small groups. We're meant to lob ideas back and forth as a group and leverage everybody's experience. That's why a group of people is generally smarter and more productive than a bunch of single people, right? I could sit there and try and figure out a hack for a game all day long, and I will never come close to what the community is going to figure out together.
I will say, Brett, and this is going to sound like a dick answer, or a dick response. I agree with you only on games that people don't care about. Because if you start doing this with Cyberpunk or Halo or Elder Scrolls or Fallout or whatever, then experiences that people are expecting to have and expectations that are off the roof, than
See-
releasing an incomplete game at the start with no end in sight. You don't know when if this game will ever be whole. You don't know if they're ever gonna do what the community, the feedback community is. And
Yeah,
I
but
feel
see,
like
here's the thing. Here's where I disagree. Like, over 10 million people play the game before it was even released, right? Like, you can't say that's not wildly successful numbers if those were.
but that Grounded is a game that like people didn't know about. So going into a beta, it makes the barrier of entry a lot less easier.
Well, see, I think it's the other way around. I think having the game in an open, unfinished, exposing the whole thing state, I think that kind of stopped the hype train. But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think the hype train can be way too big. It could be way too toxic sometimes. Everybody gets so excited when something is just put behind a curtain for too long. And inevitably, they get their hopes way too high, and they get disappointed, and they yell about it. And it just kind of seems to be that cycle. I think, honestly, if Grounded had been closed in closed development, this would be one of Microsoft's big exclusive games from a fairly legendary developer. It would have been big, but I don't think it developed the hype because it's anybody who's been interested can just go and check it out. It was a slow burn, right? And you got 10 million people to try it. Can't say that's not successful, but it was a slow burn.
Well, I can't measure success for that game. I don't know. With Game Pass, success literally is on a new dimension. I can't. That is unquantifiable at this point for me. It's like looking at thinking about a four-dimensional space. I can't fathom it right now because
Dude, 10 million views on a YouTube video is a big deal.
yeah,
But I
10 million views.
I
10 million views on a YouTube video does not fund a video game.
Yeah, Carlos, I understand where you're coming from because it's like if you have 25 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers, I believe that was the last number I saw, and 10 million of them just try it for a couple of hours. Like how many are actually playing this day in and day out consistently?
I tried it.
How many people play a game that
tried it for 20 minutes and I'm part of the count.
Yeah, think about it like this. I count for Sea of Thieves too. I played it for an hour.
Yeah, and I count for fucking Returnal. What's your point?
Yeah, no, my point is you can't really judge it by those standards.
I bought Returnal for $70.
Yeah,
played it for a few hours and fucking stopped playing it. Like, what's the difference?
There is no difference.
They got the $70.
That is the
they got
difference.
the $70. And why should I care about that as a consumer? Why do I need to be worried about how they get their money?
Well,
what I'm saying is there's no way for us at this current stage to even perceive anything as a success in that type of paradigm because we don't know what a success is. 10 million downloads does not mean anything to me other than
but you're thinking in terms of game sales. I'm just saying, specifically
I'm literally saying I don't know how to quantify it because
you can't. Hold on. You can't quantify 10 million engagement as even mildly successful.
Hold on, real quick, Brett. What? Okay, because you're jumping around everywhere. Okay, so do you care about? Okay, you just said I don't care about that. I only care about my enjoyment.
I'm not saying
but you're talking about 10 million. That doesn't affect you whatsoever. The amount of people that have played this game should not matter to you. So which conversation do you want to have? Do you want to have like, is the game good for you or is it successful? Which conversation do you want to have here?
Let's have the successful one. Okay. I'm not really sure where that got off, but like, look, I'm not saying 10 million people playing it is equivalent to 10 million sales. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm not saying we have to view this in any kind of paradigm other than you reach 10 million people. By any metric, that's a pretty solid number. If this is a fucking Super Bowl commercial, if this is a Nike ad, like getting 10 million eyes on your product simply by itself is an achievement.
Okay, but okay, fair enough. But to go with what you said, why does that matter to you as the gamer? Why do you care?
Well, I care because I'm saying I like the way that they released it, and it caused a slow burn, and that you had a lot of engagement from people. You had a lot of interest from people. That means that it's I don't even know how to put it. It's viable. It is a viable way to make and release a game. It's not like the game was just a fart in the wind and nobody cares about it. Like, yeah, I get it. Not everybody's yelling about it, but nobody's yelling about games that were released a fucking week ago. I think when you're talking about the metrics for success, I think that's something we need to fucking talk about. Yeah, like sales numbers are one thing. What about who's playing a game a week later? What about who's playing a game 2 years later? Right? I
agree with you. Actually, I think when it comes to Game Pass, I think that's probably how you should quantify success, because anybody who's subscribed could just play a game for 2 minutes and they count. That shouldn't be factored in my opinion. You know, I would think for Game Pass, and Carlos, this is where I'm actually agreeing with both of you guys on this one. You know, it's like, you can't. It's hard to quantify because I am a fake neutral because Game Pass represents a new paradigm shift, right? Like we used to judge game success by sales. You can't do that with Game Pass. So you could just easily say 10 million success. I don't think that's right either, because what if only 500 of 1,000 of those people are actually playing this game? You know what I'm saying? So I think we do need to ask those questions.
You know, there are degrees of success too.
Yeah, for Game Pass, there has to be. It's something different.
When I say 10 million people is an accomplishment, I'm not saying it's like a biggest fucking deal in the world. I'm just saying like it's worth a nod, a respectful nod. Like, all right, way to go.
But like we were talking about success, like we don't know how to measure that for Game Pass, because we don't know at the end of the day if the game made its money back, and 10 million downloads does not tell me anything other than 10 million people downloaded the game. It doesn't mean that they played it.
Yeah.
It means, like, for me, I played it for 20 minutes and that's it. And Tony mentioned with Sea of Thieves, he played it for like 30 minutes and that was it. So and that's also lifetime. That was when it released as a beta, and then it released again as a full complete title. We don't know how many people are playing the new game or the actual game, because we're taking into account everything. So it's like, you know, was it only 1,000 people that played it when it came out? Was it 10 million or anything in between? I don't know. It's
again, I don't understand like where this arbitrary distinction of like, is it because you're wanting to know like where the money goes?
I don't know. That's my thing. I don't know how to measure this as a success.
Okay, let me ask you this: is 10 million people a lot of people?
Depends.
That's kind of reductive, though, man.
If you got 10 million people to try your burrito, even if you try a burrito that you made, even if you gave it away for free, but 10 million people took you up on it, would you consider that a success?
If you made a YouTube video that was worth $1 billion and only 10 million people saw it, that's not a success.
Yeah, if people tried something effectively for free, even if it's 10 million,
no,
I wouldn't count that. Hold on. You know?
So I see. You're equating. You're saying strictly financial success.
Yeah, that's how we've normally equated success.
Well, some people do things for exposure. That's what commercials are. By that logic, no commercial ever has been a success.
Yeah, but because video games are a little different here, you know?
How? A commercial sells you a product, so does this game.
But it's not selling you a product.
Or a service, excuse me.
But it's not. You're already subscribed to the service. And you're like, hey, let me try this thing out. Whatever, I'm good. You know, that's why I think for Game Pass games, we should look at engagement. I think that's a better metric than just financial success, because we don't know what the numbers are. So we only could go with engagement. I think that's a better metric. Understand?
That's what I'm saying. No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. So because you know, but my point is, I don't think just saying 10 million that's successful. No, it's not. You know, in this instance, in this specific instance, in other instances, it would be. If you got 10 million sales, that's a fucking success, right?
But
if you just had 10 million people try it in this instance, I don't think that counts as a success. I would say if a million of those people of the 10 million are playing it on a daily basis, yeah, that's a success.
How many viewers on a YouTube video do you have to get for it to be successful?
It depends on the channel. You know?
Yeah, PewDiePie gets 100,000 and he's crying. If we get 100,000, we're crying, but for the different reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a different metric. Like if you have a channel that's like, I'm going to use simple numbers, right? You have 10 million followers, right? And you do one video and it gets 100,000 views. That's pretty bad. You know, 100,000 is a lot of people, you know. But if you have 10 million subscribers, that's shit, you know. So I think that's a more equatable metric for Game Pass. You know, very interesting question. We said something.
And also,
yeah, go ahead.
And also, YouTube has, there's retention statistics that help with defining that success for YouTube. If people are watching through the whole video, then they get more ad revenue. They get to see the ads that if a company's trying to sell ads like NordVPN and sees that a channel's not getting retention, they're not going to.
Yeah.
Manscaped.
Okay, so let me ask you this then.
Go ahead.
A whole
Hold on.
bunch of
How do you determine if something's successful if it doesn't make money? If it's not there to make money.
Engagement.
No, I'm asking Carlos.
Okay.
Because you seem to disagree. So I'm asking you, like, on something that doesn't make money, so you can't tell if it's financially successful or not. How do you tell if it was a successful endeavor?
Well, what
do you quantify that as?
You're talking in a Game Pass formula, or
I'm talking in model? Anything. It's strictly in a let's say a commercial, right? Because a commercial, you can't directly track how much money that commercial made, right?
But you're bringing things that have nothing to do with the way.
You gotta do something equatable, or just stick.
There isn't. So that's why I'm asking. Like, what is your metric for success here?
And that's why I started the conversation with saying that I don't know.
He did say that.
I don't know. I don't know how to say. I can't say if Grounded was a success or not. I really can't. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
I still maintain. I call 10 million engagement pretty decent. I can't say it's a runaway fucking success. I call it a win, though.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Two different points of view there. Good stuff. All right. Let's move on here. I'm probably going to save a lot more of these questions till next week because we're already kind of running low. But I do want to answer this one. A sponsored question. Actually, no, we're not going to do sponsored. We'll save that for next time. This from Tumeke. With Silent Hill being shown this week, what are your hopes for what it'll be? Yes, this is official. This is not fake. This is real. This is happening.
By the way, it literally showed up about 5 hours ago on their official Twitter, which I didn't know that they had official Twitter. I just saw somebody retweeting it. So yeah, on the 19th, there is some Silent Hill announcement. We'll see what the rumors are saying. They're saying stuff about rumors and all kinds of like a rumored remake and else. A rumored remake of Silent Hill 2, and then something else. So we'll find out what is this all about. Hopefully it's something good, something that people would really want to play.
By the way, huge shout out to Solep for subscribing. Shout out.
That's my dude from Twitter. What's up, Solep? Thank you, man. All right.
Yo, man, your Twitter following figured out you got a podcast?
Yeah, right. Yeah. By the way, you know how many times I get that? You got a podcast? Motherfucker, really? Like, look at my bio. It says it right there. You know? What do you think I promote? What do you think I promote every week? I do, man. When somebody like new follows me, like, what's up with you? You know? I always do that shit. When I get when I get new followers, I'm like, oh, what are you up about, man? What's your deal here?
Look at you. I'm gonna look at you. Yo, man, you a crazy pony? All right, I ain't following you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey, should I follow him back? Oh, no. We're sticking with that.
No. We're asking what should we expect from Silent Hill, and I'm like, when it comes to Konami, I learned to not expect anything.
So, my thing is, I listen, man. I've never played the only Silent Hill game I played was the Kojima demo. That's literally it. So I don't care. You know.
I mean, you don't like them horror games?
No, not really. You know that. The only one I care for is Resident Evil, you know?
Yeah, and that's sort of a more empowering type of title than...
Yeah. Real cool. Solab, yeah. You know what? Since he's subscribed, we will answer your questions, sir. But with any last thoughts on Silent Hill? Well, we could again. We don't know. We don't know. It's too.
Well, I don't have high expectations.
You know, it's a Konami here.
I was joking earlier that were they going to introduce the new pachinko machine? Like I didn't. This was even a game. I thought it'd be some mobile shit or something else.
Yeah.
Like honestly, don't remake 2. Like they already fucked up that HD edition.
Oh, I heard about that. That was from a couple years ago.
Yeah. The rumor is that the guys that did the
medium,
Silent
right?
Hill-ish, the medium, those guys are essentially doing a remake.
What's the name of that fucking studio? I keep messing up their name.
They're like a Ukrainian studio, as I remember, right?
I don't know about that, but Bloober team, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bloober. Yeah, the
yeah.
Bloober team is going to be doing a remake of Silent Hill 2. I mean, out of all the people that they've been sort of trying to remake Silent Hill games for years. Like the Medium was not the first time they attempted this. So, I mean, if they are legitimately doing it, I couldn't think of a better company to sort of do it. I don't know. But yeah, this there's supposed to be multiple things. You know, as you remember, if you look back at that guy who was essentially leaking a bunch of shit, those are all the rumors that were out there.
Yeah.
I think I forgot what he said. I think he deleted that Twitter account.
J Shep goes, I hope it's not exclusive. Twitter will be insufferable. I hope it's an exclusive. Just so I can see the fallout on Twitter. Because I don't care about this game, so I don't give a shit where it goes. You know,
It'll be an Xbox exclusive. That would be some shit right there.
Switch
if they manage
exclusive.
to, oh my god, then
Oh man.
Wait, a Switch cloud game exclusive.
Oh no, Barry Burton. No, he goes Silent Hill Survive.
well, you know, it's funny. It's funny about Survive. The person who designed those weird zombie monster things from Metal Gear Survive, that was the guy who designed a bunch of monsters in Silent Hill.
Uh-oh.
So Pyramid Head and all those other freaky shits, that's all him. And the Metal Gear Survive weird zombie things.
Oh man.
Crystal zombies.
Yeah. Stupid. All right, man. Let's wrap it up here. Good show, man. Fiery.
Oh,
you know.
Oh, by the way, Soleb asked a real quick
Oh,
question.
yeah. Well, almost. Thank you for reminding me. The Callisto Protocol or Dead Space remake?
I think this is. Is there anyone that's going to be on the other side?
If you saw my tweet, you already know my answer.
You doing Callisto?
Of course.
Callisto for me. Yeah.
Get a new experience.
Oh yeah, same here.
Yeah. What are you most
Granted
excited
that-
for? Callisto Protocol or Dead Space remake?
Callisto Protocol,
All day.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mean the real Dead Space,
Exactly right.
not the remake of Dead Space?
J Ship goes are both $70.
Oh.
Well, you know, you
shit.
can only spend. You can
No,
only
no,
spend
that's not
$7
right.
On one of them.
No, he goes R. He's asking a question.
Oh no, close to 60.
Makes that
How
choice
much is
even
Dead
easier,
Space?
don't it?
Is
$70.
Is it
Yeah, remember the controversy? We talked about that on the last show. You know.
Oh, okay, so yeah, you get Callisto Protocol, made by the original guys who made Dead Space, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty easy right there. You know.
I mean, yeah, Callisto is not only do I prefer that over Dead Space remake. It's one of the few games that I actually look forward to in this year.
So it's Carlos actually looking forward to a game. Isn't that something? I'm talking about for both of us right now. You know,
isn't that a new
And it's
feeling?
a next gen game.
Yeah, it is next gen, right? Please tell me it's next gen.
Oh, let me look it up.
No, it is. It's a next gen game.
Don't fuck it up.
I see PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on this.
Oh no!
Oh no!
No.
It says Unreal Engine 5?
Excuse
What?
me?
I didn't
All right,
know
so
this.
Leb, shout out to you, brother.
Yo.
I'm still hyped though. Give me that fucking game, you know.
This
And
Ragnarok
I'm
is-
looking forward to God of War as well. Like 2 games, that's something, you know.
Man,
Go wall.
It's a
God
go
of War.
War, you know.
That's better than nothing.
Gotta have something.
Yo, man,
you know what I'm looking forward to. You got the duty.
got the duty. You got the FIFA.
It's like, no, it's not the same. It's not the same.
No, every year I'm telling you, it's different. It's different this year.
This
They
is
got
it.
features. Oh man, Callisto Protocol current gen is $70. Is that true? Oh no, I'll still pick that over Dead Space though. You know.
Yeah, I am seeing 70.
Yeah, you know that's just how it is now. Inflation, baby.
Inflation.
Oh God, give me a raise, man. Keep up with this shit. You see how much food costs now? Fuck.
What?
Like motherfuckers can't eat no more. You know.
I went to New York for a month and almost went broke.
You
just
know,
on
and
food.
that was before the inflation really kicked in. You know, fucking crazy, man. $7 for a box of fucking eggs. You know, like we're really doing this. Crazy. Anyway, we're not going to upset you guys anymore. We're done here, man. Good show. I'm glad we had shit to talk about because there was a lot of shit up this weekend. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that Silent Hill news. You know, we'll definitely keep you updated on that because if it's coming out this week, so we'll definitely talk about it on the main show, the mothership show, as Adam would call it. You know. Mothership. Anyway, do we have anything to plug around here?
For those that are fans of The Walking Dead, make sure to check out our channel, which is or our podcast called I Am Negan, where we talk about all things The Walking Dead. Even we talk about the spin-offs, we talk about all that stuff. You can find that on I Am Negan on all your podcasting apps, or if you want to check it out on YouTube, you can go to thecoalition.com or the Coalition, and that's the Coalition with a K, not a C, a K. And just search up I Am Negan. You can check up all our reviews for The Walking Dead proper. We are going to cover tomorrow, or we're going to release tomorrow, the newest episode, which was episode 4. So make sure to stay tuned and check us out. I Am Negan.
Yay.
I Am Negan.
Man, you have anything?
No, not right now. You know, things are waiting in the wings. I mean, the only thing I could say that was out was the I Am Batman cover that me and Kari Randolph did. That's going to be coming, I think, came last week or coming this week. It's a tribute to some of those OG Nightfall comics from back in the day. We did all that, so that's going to be out pretty soon, or is out. So that's the only thing I got right now. But obviously, like all things, I always have lots of things waiting in the wings to do. So keep an eye out for that.
Yo, man, we got I Am Negan and I Am Batman.
Oh,
I Am Batman.
Cool stuff. Brett, you have any cool tattoo stuff you want to promote?
Maybe, I don't know. I feel like it right now.
Go check out Brett on Instagram, man. He has good stuff, you know?
Yeah, Brett Murdoch Tattoo, all one word.
There you go.
There you go.
Promote your stuff, man. Get some people out there.
It'll be memorialized if I die.
Yeah, yeah, right. Oh, man. Make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping, and where we get all of our show stories from, you guys make the show happen. So thank you for posting all that good stuff. I literally just go there every Thursday, like after work, like, all right, what are we going to talk about? So very, very helpful. Throwdown, we are on every podcast app on the planet. Throwdown Show, 2 words, Throwdown Show. One of the newest places is on Samsung Podcast, which I learned was a thing about a month ago. So it's a new platform, so obviously I wasn't like unaware. It's just literally brand new. So go check us out there. And we're in the usual places: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon as well. We're everywhere. You could also check us out at throwdownshow.com to listen to previous episodes, the MP3 versions. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. And yes, smash the like button, please, if you like the episode. I'm amazed with likes. Like, for example, I was watching a video for Man in the Hole, right? Alice in Chains or whatever. 33 million views on that video and like 30 something likes. Very interesting, right? Actually, no, excuse me. Mm-hmm. It was like 3 million views and 33,000 likes. I'm like, something's off here.
Was that considered a success?
Yeah, right. Now, I was thinking about that when you guys were having a conversation. Anyway, links to everything down below. Once again, our show host Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
And Brian Manjoma.
Seriously, go play the Guardians of the Galaxy game. It's a lot better than everyone says it is, in my opinion.
This is true. It's fantastic. Go play that shit. All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday, man. We'll be doing follow-ups of all the craziness we covered today. Later. Yep, that's it. Later, people.
Peace.
Latest.